back, everybody. Episode 55, another V-time, another shindig, another late night recording. Yeah, you don't want to know the backstory about that. Anywho, we're back in action. A lot of stuff had been shown this week. Some stuff we didn't even expect to see, and some stuff that surprised us last second. We're going to talk about it here, but before that, we first like to say, if you're interested in picking up any TCG, if you're picking up any cards from TCG Player, please use their affiliate link down below.
Yep, your purchases help support the channel and so you get bring better videos to you.
And with that late night tired spiel out of the way with all the words. Words
are hard. Words are hard.
Going straight to the leaks. Anyway, like we said last week time, as we're recording Friday, the YouTubers are showing their stuff Saturday, so we're a little bit behind them. So we're finally gonna hit Solomon's leak with Grand Blue. And with that, we got White Legion Sailing Ship Bet Bounty. Pretty cool. I agree with Solomon. We finally get more ships because it's mostly just zombies.
I swear to God,
this is
when I first saw this art.
Zombie.
I just want to talk about something. When I first saw this art, because obviously you're looking at not the actual full art in your face, you see the card. I thought this was all trees growing off of the ship, not people.
Not wrong. Dr. Dan, not me.
Oh, you're right. Oh man.
Anywho, the ability. Auto Vanger. At the end of the battle data attack. Costs +1. Discard 3 cards from your hand. Put this unit into your G zone face up and ride up to 1 grade 3 card from your job zone as stand. This honestly helps Black and Grand Blue because they get more than enough cards to mill to call stuff from drop zone to do all the stuff. They have no Vanguard threat, and this helps them give an extra layer of doing shit.
More punchy, please.
I mean, against decks like Link Joker and other stuff that just straight up retires your rear guards or prevents you from playing the game normally, your Vanguard's going to be the only thing, and this helps you just Vanguard centric.
Yeah.
Gives you that extra little layer to the deck. Anyway, moving on from there. As the trend followed, we saw a new draw trigger in the clan next to a new, whatever the unit does. For this week, we saw Link Joker, we got the draw trigger, Milky Way, Sharp Sword, Gurik, and for the normal unit, we got Manipulator of Emptiness. Auto Vanguard Rigger, when it attacks, or the attack it boosted hits a Vanguard cost, put a card from your hand as lock card and draw a card. Really good for Messiah and what potentially it might do. You're locking a card on the field and replacing, and depending on, if we just take Harmonix Messiah into perspective, this basically just gives you another card that you can draw off of Harmonix and another, attacker or booster that's going to be very useful. Not too shabby. The on-hit condition is a little bit steep, but it does put pressure.
At least it's not like other clans who just discard to draw. This is block and draw, so you are building on your board.
Not wrong. Let's move on to Monday. Monday didn't show any new leaks. We saw the Ghost Ship again, and we saw the Gamma Glass Deep Leaks one again. We did, however, get an interesting errata. We're going to jump back to a card we already saw. And that errata is on... Where she is? Yeah, there she is. Thank you. Dragon Dancer Soja. Her ability is basically all the same with one exception. Instead of putting a Doha and a Garen each from your drop zone, you can put any number of Dohas or Garens each from your drop zone. So it limits her from just gaining a maximum of 10k to a possibility of gaining up to 40k.
It's like, this is the best thing you ever wanted if you wanted that card. Now it's even better.
I mean, it's not too shabby. It literally just gives her an extra layer and makes her just a bit better.
Yeah, that's a good waterfall booster.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, moving on, we saw Tuesday's stream. Tuesday's stream happened. We got caught up by surprise. Very so slightly. We're going to hit the Majesty Lord set first, and then we're going to call up a premium. Because the premium set kind of confirmed his theory. And surprise everybody else. First off, we got Star Call Trumpeter. We finally get to see him. We thought we were going to see Majesty with him, but I guess not. We're going to talk about Majesty later. But Star Call Trumpeter. Auto Vanguard Rigger. When placed, cost +1, Soul +1. Return a card with Blaster in its card name, and the When Light and Darkness intersects each from your drop zone to your hand. So the Light and Darkness intersects is the order. and a blaster, so any blaster, more than likely Blaster Dark, Blaster Blade, or Majesty. Wake up.
Huh?
1 for 2.
Her other ability is continuously if you have a Vanguard Blaster in its card name, this unit gets boosted. It's a 10k booster. Thoughts?
Really good way to really plus in your grade 2 game, especially if you have Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark. You ride Blaster Dark, ditch the Blaster Blade, get it back. There we go.
I mean, it's just what the deck needs.
Spending 1 card for 2 cards sounds great.
Plus, if you're ever on Majesty and you really need to get both of them on the board, it's a great way to make a free board.
You're not wrong. Like, if you rode one of them, you can use this, Soul Blast the one, grab the order, call the one, use the order, call the other one, put them back to Soul, make the markers, all the, oh shit, spoilers.
We'll get there eventually.
Most people already know what we're talking about. For those who don't, you're gonna see when we talk about it. But stick through it. First, we're gonna talk about premium in the stream. Oof. Well, we did see a stride. It was Neo Nectar, and as the trends follows, previous premium collection really good. So most likely this premium collection meh. Well, it is meh and it is meh.
It's not bad. It's interesting.
It's not Katrina.
It's
not Katrina.
It's not as good as it was.
But in a certain deck, it's really good.
I still think it's better than Katrina. But
You put your 2 cents after the effect. In Tracing Flower Princess Sandrine. I think I said that right. Anyway, Act G Zone. If this card is face down and you and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost +1, retire 2 token units. Stride this card on your Vanguard, and this unit gets power 10k critical +1 until the end of turn. What's good about this card? Well, it's a free stride, so you can build up your act abilities first and then stride. What's the better card about this? You can use this with Asha.
Yep. You can also use this with any benches.
Yeah, but I say Asha specifically because you can make the Asha Flower Fairy token with Asha's ability.
Yeah.
Kill 2 more tokens that you can probably easily generate, and get this on Vanguard. So not only is your Vanguard currently sitting at 38 with a critical, possibly more because of the force markers underneath it, but your Asha the Asha tokens will have the same amount of critical and power as the Vanguard. So 38 and a critical with any extra drive checks, and now that it has triple drive, it's actually even more threatening.
Pretty much so.
I mean, making units without using your hands and making them scary is
Still-
always good.
You gotta don't think. For making the Asha token, if you're on the best Asha, it's a Soul Blast and 2 units. And then this thing needs to retire 2 tokens. So you're technically sacrificing 4 units total to get all this. But the payback is worth it.
So,
threat.
Not wrong.
so this versus Katrina. Katrina on paper is just overall better.
Oh yeah.
But this but that's with Katrina in the vacuum. If you take this in consideration with everything else that's been revealed in this set, everything's a standard plus deck that's pretty much happening in the standard. Or premium.
This makes the standard plus deck very standard plus.
Yes. So, in my opinion, you're going to be fighting decks that are going to kill you at grade 3, and you really want to wait till you can stride to actually play back against that? Or would you rather have a stride where you can have a good grade 3 game and then go into this if you need it?
Yep. Anywho, the last thing that the stream actually revealed is actually, like I said, the surprise. We finally got to see the crit triggers. What the crit triggers are going to be in this premium collection. And unlike the last premium collection, they're a little bit different. We got to see one of them, and that's, I guess the name's not here. Who cares? This is a Royal Paladin one. I'll put the name next to it somewhere. Yay. But its effect, and all crit triggers are going to have the same effect, is continuous hand while paying the cost for a stride. This card may be discarded as a grade 3. So your crit triggers are stride cards.
Awesome.
Yay!
Wish this was piercing.
Yeah, you call it. You completely call it. But we also have a picture, and it is a bit small and a bit blurry, but we got a picture of all 24 crit triggers. Some look cool, some don't. Some look like blob monsters, some look cartoony, some look really cool, some are ghosts. But but all crit triggers have this effect, and it's a nice extra layer to the deck and deck building in premium. And for some decks this is really great, for other decks this is alright. really depends on what kind of deck you build. Anyway, moving on from that. What was reading day from Wednesday, right? So no leaks Wednesday, but that's why Wednesday was leaks. Damn it. Anywho, more premium collection. This time New Batama and Genesis. I'm gonna let you do New Genesis. Let me get New Batama. We got New Batama first. Rico Demonic Dragon Yakumeso. Pretty much. Auto Vanguard when it attacks. Cost. Retire 2 grade 0 and turn a card from your GM face up. Draw 2 cards, return all of your rear guards to your hand, and call up to 2 cards from your hand to rear guard. If you call 2, this unit gets 10k critical until the end of turn. I mean, not too shabby. It follows suit with the standard plus with what New Batama is doing right now in the sense of bouncing your field, calling back, interacting with grade 0s, which are probably going to be the evil decoy tokens. Yep, thank you. I mean, it's not too shabby. I am glad it's not dominating.
I mean, I'll tell you that, I mean, this is what they needed in a sense because it's a good first try.
It's a really good first try, yeah.
They never really had anything other than the Magetendo, which...
I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is the fact that if you call 2 units, this unit gets 10k critical until the end of turn. So the Vanguard is threatening. But you gotta think, you're bouncing your entire board, which means you're more than likely had to have swung with your rear guards first. And then when you bounce your board, you're only calling 2 rear guards. Unless you put them in the same column, and unless they're grade 3, they're more than likely going to be underpowered unless they can buff themselves up somehow.
Plus, it's pretty good with Jimmy and Congo if you get down to 4.
Oh hell yeah! You get them down to 4 and then swing out. It's really detrimental.
I mean, I think potential threats are better than no threats.
See, the only problem I got with Jimmy and Congo then is you can technically run a deck with Jimmy and Congo and then have this stride, but you're then taking your the Rene stride out of your inventory or out of your repertoire.
I mean, a lot of people have been doing that anyways just because of this stride.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but the Rene stride is still strong. Like, granted, against some matchups, you're gonna just whiff on it. Like, you're gonna go, hey, call 2 cards and let me dominate them. Okay, I'm gonna call this marker and it's gonna go. But in certain situations, like, it's still a good strike because you're menacing your opponent's hand, you're attacking them with those units, and then you're doing your turn. It's depending on how you want to build a deck, it's up here and it's down there. It's honestly not an overall bad strike. Here's your Genesis.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who like to play Standard Plus, well, we got it. So, Hero Deity of Zenith Marduk. Stride for Genesis, Auto G-Zone. When your Vanguard attacks, if your Vanguard is grade 3, cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 6. Stride this card on your Vanguard from face down as rest. It gets the power and critical that one of your hearts has gotten this turn by trigger effects. And change the attacking unit of the battle to this unit.
Yeah.
So basically, you just upgrade your Vanguard into this in mid-battle.
Pretty much. Like, you basically stride and it's still, and then this thing is swinging instead of your Vanguard. And then any trigger effects are kept. The reason it says any trigger effects is due to Himiko because of the way Himiko works. So this works well with Himiko.
Say instead. It is not instead, it is also. Because
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just
you're not, because the marker fire always transfers to whatever unit's on top of it.
Also, actually Astral Plane, because you can now play your Astral Plane before you swing your Vanguard. Another fun interaction that I've seen floating around is now that you have Minerva, you can swing, and then on the restand when it would lose drive checks, you can go into this thing and actually gain drive checks.
Oh yeah, because it is a cost to place it, so you can choose when to activate it.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
But yeah, it allows you to interact with decks that usually don't need a strike bearing, so I think it's a cool card. Plus, you can do this while your opponent's at grade 2, so even better.
You're not wrong. The cost is sufficient to what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because Soul Blast 6 and Counterblast 1 is still high.
But you get a good payout.
Blast.
Yes. Anywho, moving on. Honestly, OTT's been a little bit here and there. Honestly, all of Dragonflame's been a bit weird because we've seen big leaks and we've seen small leaks, but we haven't seen nothing in between. We've only seen stuff in between. We finally seen our first double rare, and it's a grade 3 OTT.
And I think this is a good hint to the power of this set coming up.
You're not wrong. Like Blade Master set the bar, and it's already showing consistency, power, and just threat early. This thing is a double rare support OTT, and it's setting the bar on the same level. Goddess of Abundant Harvest, Otogosahime.
Blessing.
It's gotta be Gazusa for most of these, so stop that. Anyway, Auto Vanguard when placed. Counterblast 1, draw 2 cards. Straight plus. Auto Vanguard, when it attacks, you may discard 3 cards from your hand. If you discarded 3 until the end of turn, all of your front row units get power 20k, and this unit gets critical +1. I'm sorry, what?
Tom got swole.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. 20k is big of. That's the order that costs a lot.
Hey, just follow this up with a deer.
Oh my god. Cannibal. Maybe. Yeah, you could.
I mean, you're not soul busting, you're just discarding, so.
And the best part of it is she gains a critical, so the criticals on top of that you gain from deer can go in the rear guard. Yo, that's a fun interaction.
Isn't that right?
I mean, you still. We're talking about a support grade 2, grade 3. That's a double rare.
This isn't Susan.
This isn't Susan. Which brings me to the point. I have a theory because of this card. I honestly think Susanoo is going to be a really good effect, don't get me wrong. But if this is going to be mostly, honestly, a defensive effect.
I mean, or consistency. Just be a good overall consistency.
Yeah. Because this is a really good card. You plus. And then, granted, ditch 3 is a lot. You're basically almost minusing. Well, wait. You would have gotten 2 drive checks, so you're ditching 1 more than usual, but you have a counterblast. So technically, overall, plussing 1, I think.
You make a marker, and then you draw 2, and then you ditch 3. So you basically net nothing.
Okay, so you draw 2 and you make 1 marker. You ditch 3 and you gain 2 drive checks.
Yeah. So basically, you play like you never had.
You net power and crit. That's your net.
You technically net 2. Because if you didn't get the draw 2, the marker and the drive checks would have been the ditch 3. So you would have been at 0. You wouldn't plus at all that turn. But with this effect, you technically get your drive checks out.
But for double rare, this is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
Double rare hasn't had this many good cards before.
Oh yeah. You wait until you see a triple rare. Moving on. Friday stream happened. Majesty did get a leak, but before we cover Majesty, another card in Dragonflame got a leak, and it's a triple rare Dimension Police grade 3, and it's again setting the bar to an interesting level. Black dressed outstanding deity, Black. First note before I read the effect, it's not a dimensional robo finally.
Yeah.
So we're moving away from that a bit.
He's pretty sure this is for Gallup.
Oh yeah, because the ability is very interesting. Act, Vanguard, once per turn. Counterblast 1, 3 of your front row units gain power 10k until the end of turn. Auto Vanguard, at the end of the battle that attack, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 card from among them, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, discard 2 cards from hand, write a grade 3 card other than Black dressed outstanding deity Black from your hand as stand, and this unit gets power 10k, and that unit gets power 10k, drive -1 until the end of turn. Oof. There is 2 things to know. It does bump your front row. It does superior ride, so you can technically do a superior ride. You don't have to wait a turn in the police anymore. The police had to wait a turn before they can do a superior grade 3 ride with Great Dayusha. They can technically do a superior grade 3 ride on their first grade 3, then wait, not ride on their ride phase or use the effect, and then ride Dayusha. The police players don't want to talk about it. There is one interesting fact about this card. You're actually minusing overall. You get a drive check 2. You ditch 2. So you get drive check 2 and you get a grade 3 to hand. You ditch 2 to ride that grade 3, and now that grade 3 does have power, but it loses a drive check. So overall, you've actually -1.
But you are bringing the hurt.
You are, but you gotta also think, Great Dayusha in all the technicality pluses you one by the same principles. Because you don't need to ditch nothing, just need to hit a threshold. You have your drive check 2, You ride the user, so you're -1 in that case, but you still have your draw check too, so overall you +3 from that turn.
But then again, like you said earlier, this can be used the way you're too.
Oh yeah, like
Either
it's
way.
balance in that sense.
Either way, bar. It's gonna be really tough picking your grade 3s in your deck now.
You want a bar? You want a bar? You want to see the main card in a legend deck?
I
The
played
speed that
against this
sky is
bar.
the limit bar set.
You want to see the card that people are already wanting to put on the ban list? Majesty Lord Blaster. He's here. The big boy is here, and proxy plays are going to be coming out tomorrow about him. Oof, his effect. Well, it's very reminiscent to his old self.
Almost identical, just a little tweaks.
Continuous Vanguard Rear Guard. If a Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark, the special set, are in your soul, this unit gets critical +1, so this counts to the rigor. And if this unit is on your Vanguard, it gets power 5k drive +1. Auto Vanguard, when it attacks, costs put 2 rear guards into your soul and get 2 Imaginary Gift Force. Alex, do you want to note something about the first ability?
It is also on your opponent's turn.
You're at 18k base if you meet the conditions. The game is changing, ladies and gentlemen.
This is also a double critical rear guard.
Yep.
If you have the conditions with.
Who needs Force 2 when you just made a unit that already has it?
And it just keeps gaining force markers because you can keep doing the soul. It's not that
Why not both?
When you think about it, the turn you're riding, you're getting 3 force markers.
pretty much. And then you're just getting more and more and more if you're still using the effect. It's
setup is
not
key, but
Bad. And now all the other supporting cards, the Wingle, the Trumpeter, are actually making a lot more sense because why they work the way they do.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty scary consistent if you think about it because, like we were talking about earlier with Trumpeter, late game you're like, oh man, I don't have a blaster or anything. Well, now you can just call the Trumpeter, soul blast what you need, and get the order, call it down, use the order, grab the other one, suck them in the soul, and now you have the conditions.
Yep. And if you're lucky and see both Blaster Dark and Blaster Blade on your grade 2 turn, you can call them down for pressure, use the order, and get your Majesty, guaranteeing you a grade 3.
Yeah. Or if you really want a threat, you have both on the board already, just use your order to get the grade 3, and now you have a double critical rear guard. And probably what's going to be a force marker on rear guard.
Pretty much. Like, this card is bonkers. And it's, like I said, setting a new bar. Being an 18k base is honestly setting a new bar. And unfortunately, people are already memeing it, and the whole, oh, Revan, I just managed you 5, you can't be a 13. Anyway, I do want to talk about this card on a special note. Thank you to, I just looked at it. Thank you to Derpy Yeet from our Discord for asking this, pointing this out, and actually having us think about it. This is a fun interaction. What happens when you dominate this? If it's, let's say, on rear guard, do you gain the crit?
No, it's a continuous skill. No, technically, you could if you have a Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark in your soul.
Right. But if dominate counts, when you dominate, it looks at your soul, so it's kind of impossible to have a Blaster Dark and Blaster Blade in soul.
Yeah, and it's a Vanguard skill for it to activate.
Oh, no, the Vanguard rear guard. I'm talking about the Vanguard rear crit first.
Oh, yeah, it's literally impossible unless you have a way to put them in your
Exactly.
soul.
Now, what if you dominate the Vanguard? You can technically use the put 2 cards into your soul ability.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
If I remember the turn. Someone check that. But if you can, there's 2 questions. First off, well, you suck your stuff in, you make force markers in New Automaton next to Protect. Because I think it's legit simply because of the Bermuda grade 4 that makes all force markers, one of each. So as long as the effect says, hey, make a marker, you're not restricted to whatever marker you've already made.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting interaction for you guys there. Let us know down in the comments below if that actually works, or there's some other dominate, the restrictions here and there that prevent you from doing this. Or maybe if the grade 4 Shiranui that dominates the Vanguard technically says you can't use the auto abilities or something like that. Let us know, we'll look at it and we'll correct ourselves next time. But until then, one last leak for the road that showed up literally, 5 minutes ago?
Something like that.
yeah, it was really last
Oh
minute.
my god. Alright. We've got, my god, if I can understand how to use an iPad. 2 Cray Elementals from the Premium Collection set that we did not see coming.
Oh man. So, for Premium Collection, just setting bars for like way.
We're going to cover the grade 2, but there's a grade 3 Cray Elemental. Finally, a grade 3 Cray Elemental. There's a grade 3 Cray Elemental that's got shown, but we're going to cover the grade 2 because it works with a grade 3. Cloud Elemental Morwark. Act. Vanguard records once per turn if you have 4 or more units with no continuous actor and auto abilities. Cost Cannabis 1, search your deck for up to 1 Thunder Elemental Bargarian, the grade 3. Write it as stand and shuffle your deck. If you rolled, turn a Storm Elemental Cyclone from your G zone face up. Now, this is a GB1 activator, and you know, all of your vanillas just gain power. Because to activate this ability, you have to have 4 or more units with, you know, no effects, which means all those units that have no effects are already gaining +5. What is Swole? What does a grade 3 do? Thunder Elemental Bargarian. Auto Vanguard when placed. Soul Blast 1, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 2 cards with no continuous act and all abilities from among them, put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Act Vanguard. If you have 4 more rare cards with no continuous act and auto abilities, cost Counterblast 1, stride a Storm Elemental Cyclone on your Vanguard from face up in your G zone. From face up in your G zone.
Oh, fair enough. Still though.
You still have more G zone to use.
In perfect conditions, you can stride while they're at grade 1.
Yep.
In perfect conditions. That means your opponent has to give you a Counterblast. We've already discussed this a bit. Bobo is a really good card, because if you use the grade 2 ability, you go to grade 3 and your GB1's active, you call Bobo, you get another damage, you countercharge the other one, you Counterblast, you stride that thing on. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And interesting note though, this is in the first premium card so far that you have to see
You know
the
what?
marker.
Yeah, the first premium card.
Or grade 3 since.
Okay, there's 2 things about this grade 3, and I'm gonna pop the picture back. One, it's the old art of how they did units, in the sense of if you look at the grade 3 symbol, if you look at the tags, the abilities, the normal unit thing. The only thing that's new about it is the double rare symbol on the bottom.
Yep.
Another thing to note, like Alex said, it has no marker. And another thing to note, it's an 11K grade 3.
Yep.
Not a 12, not a 13. Basically, it's saying I'm still G-Era. G-Era still exists.
I will say though that it is interesting that you can splash this into any deck.
I want to say this. We can finally do it, people. We can finally make a complete Cray Elemental deck. We have a grade 3 finally.
Another thing to note about this though, which is weird, is the fact that
Oh no, we don't have a Cray Elemental starter.
yet.
Could easily happen.
Well, we don't have Cray Elemental. We only have a Cray Elemental crit, which is missing a heal draw and anything else to fill up the trigger zone. But we're getting there. We're almost there.
Is that
Someday.
it's the duality of this fact that it's a Cray Elemental, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's meant to go into every deck, but it only works in its own deck.
I mean, look at it this way. Hypothetically, let's say they finally do it and you have nothing but Cray Elementals in the deck.
Yes.
Could you technically stride any nation stride then?
You still have to pick a nation at that point, I think.
You see, there's no clarification because we never reached that point.
I mean, I get what you're saying. At that point, yeah, but I think once your G zone has a nation stride, it needs to be stuff there.
Fair enough. Anywho, fun stuff. Last bit of news. So that was the week's leaks. And the last bit of news that we got before we wrap this up. On the stream as well, they announced that on the next stream, May 5th, they were getting a new ban list.
Well, it was fun playing Vanquisher while ahead.
You knew it was about to happen. You knew that needed a hit.
I mean,
you knew that needed a hit.
Alright, let's be real here, people. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Standard, ain't nothing happening. They ain't touching it.
I disagree.
I don't think they're touching Standard.
Want to bet?
Alright.
Let him finish his point.
Let me finish with what's in my head. Regardless, I don't think they're going to touch Standard because there's no tournament results. There's nothing to really show because of the whole situation going outside.
The Backstreet Boys.
Basically. But there's no real tournament results in English, at least in my opinion, to really merit the effect of a ban. Same goes for the Astral Force drop, but there's no tournaments to really show how much that affected, how Vanquisher and Revan play with those parts. And same goes for Try 3. There just hasn't been enough in Standard to really merit a ban in there.
You're not wrong. But you're also wrong.
But in Premium, like Katrina, DI, everything else has been floating around for quite a while ever since they hit that one ban list.
I mean, you also see some tournament results, and you talked about it as well, how Revan and Murakami are always side by side.
I do. But at the same time, there's not official tournaments. They're not regional tournaments. There's not shop tournaments.
I agree. Ultimately, Bushi could just do it and, start banning stuff that hasn't been released because of stupid interactions. We saw them do that back in the day with Pale Moon.
Yeah, and that was going to be the next case. Is probably something coming up in Dragonflame or a step later that's going to be a really interaction that...
Swear to God, Bushi, if you touch my messiahs, I'll come straight to Japan.
But I guarantee, they already hit one of your babies. What are the chances of hitting another?
We don't talk about the cataclysm. We don't talk about the meteor.
Why'd
right?
you bring it up? We had this suppressed.
Anyways, but more than likely, that's in my opinion, that's going to be happening. It would make sense why they just go ahead and say, hey, we're going to stop this before it even happens. Here's a ban list now. Make this restriction.
Yep, okay. So that's technically our ban list predictions because we're running a little bit out of time.
Yeah.
And last thing before we close up. We got more English set releases. We got a date finally for Premium Collection. It's going to be August 7th. But also on August 7th, this is a little bit of a surprise, we're actually getting the Festival Collection in English as well. I was not seeing that coming.
What's in the Festival Collection, Philip?
Okay, so the Festival Collection is very interesting. There is 24 double rares, there's 48 rares and 60 commons. And it's a reprint set. The 24 double rares are each of the draw PGs. The 48 rares are 2 reprints per clan. We don't know what kind of reprints, but they are reprints. And the last 60 commons are every single starter we have so far, but with the new errata ability for the quick shoot.
So what you're saying is, Gear Chronicle players, oh my god.
You're not wrong. But yeah, that's an interesting. I did not see this coming. I really did not. I didn't know we were going to get this set, and it's a nice.
Vanguard does not do often reprints.
It's honestly nice because you got to think. Draw PGs are getting a little bit out of hand. We saw it first time spike with Bermuda when it hit that $25 mark. Yeah. And that was stupid. And some other PGs have hit that same mark and have gotten starting to rise to those same prices. This set is going to flood the market again and have a little bit more accessibility to those PGs.
Yeah.
Same thing for the whatever reprints they do. Depending on the reprints, they may or not be key reprints. Like imagine the Shadow Paladin getting Swordbreaker in the main in this.
It'd be nice.
And then the starter is just nice flavor, so you don't have to go, hey, this starter only draws your card. No, it does this. Well, it doesn't say on it.
Too bad it's not going to be foiled.
Maybe it is? Oh no, it's common. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anywho.
It's tragic. That's the only tragedy to it. No foil starters.
Anyway, that wraps up this feed time. And guys, anything add? I mean, it's past midnight.
My spirit can't add anymore.
I can't either.
Oof.
We look tired and we apologize for that.
We feel tired.
Blame him. Anywho. Anywho. As always, we come to the end. This was episode 55. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share with your friends, comment down below. If you want to see more from us, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified. Maybe even follow us on Facebook and join our Discord. That's how we do it. Anyways, but as always, I've been Philip.
This is Alex.
And I'm Lon.
And a tired woo. See you in the next time. I think that is with Can I go to bed now?
Yeah, I'm out of here.